hardworking team who will fight to represent you. Couldn't be happier with the call that I made that day.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune into Kyle, Preston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside ESPN's John Anderson, here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day, the John Anderson Homer Hour. And has occurred on other shows. He gets the opening statement. We have the Packer postgame show. We hear opening statement from Mark Tauscher. Then an opening statement from Gary Ellerson. On Monday, we have Brian Bulaga. We get an opening statement from Brian Bulaga. And now we finished the grand slam of opening statements with the one from 7 2.5. Wilt should he can't even dream when he was alive of doing that. John Anderson. Think about that. Do you ever think about that? Of all that Wilt could do, Wilt was not in your league on the high jump. Now, only you would know what he might have done with the Fosbury flop. That was before his time, but did a few that had done both do significantly better when the approach changed, or is that just made up?
No, it improved a lot. Improved Dick Fosbury. He went from being incredibly average to the Olympic champion. Yes. The guy that's been the best at both of them all time, I think, is probably Pat Matsdorf from down in Sheboygan, believe it or not. He's the guy that jumped. He set a world record in the straddle, and then it was really good when he turned as a roller, and was really good when he turned.
I didn't know that. Wow. Though I claim that's the greatest change in the sporting style or in the history of sports in my lifetime. Nothing else changed like that.
Nope. I mean, the fiberglass pole made pole vaulting revolutionized it, but it didn't change what it really looked like fundamentally.
Right. The way that you accomplished the sport.
Yeah. I would agree wholeheartedly with that. So, and
I give them credit. They allowed it.
The Packers changed the sport this weekend, but I think they showed their quarterback was really good. That he played up to his contract, which isn't what his goal should be. But I mean, it looked like he played really well. The defense did enough. The Cardinals are a team that can be scary, even if they can't always be great. And as I was saying previously, I think this week is a great test. I think if they come out and in any way, shape, or form handle the Texans, then they are very much the team we thought they were, which is a playoff team and a team that can advance into the playoffs. If they don't, it'll be very much how did they lose? Where were the weaknesses? Are those kind of correctable things? When they, we'll get a better, kind of why they aren't what we thought they were against this team. But I think everybody should be really, really encouraged. I think they brought Dobbs back, and he appeared to be, his team seemed to welcome him back. I saw the little locker room clip right after where LaFleur gave him a little shout out, and the whole team seemed to be really behind him and embraced that. Nobody was kind of like, just kind of let that go. So I don't know that I felt better in any of the Mondays. I know you were really great when after the Eagles game, you were very excited because it wasn't Jordan Love lost for the season.
Yes. And think of it, a couple weeks later, the injury is over. There's no reason to even think about it, right? He could get hurt again, but he's he's recovered fully from that injury, right? I mean, would you join my club?
Yeah, that hit. Yeah, I thought there was a little looked like maybe he was dealing with some residual stuff the game before that when they played the Rams, but I thought he looked really good the whole way. That they threw Christian Watson's a pass. I'll take more of that anytime we can. I think he's the best athlete on that team, and I don't know why they don't get him involved.
Excuse me, who's the best athlete on the team?
I think Christian Watson is the best athlete on that team.
Okay.
I think Christian Watson could run sub-11, sub-2.
Yeah, no, he's the fastest player on the team. He's the fastest player, but I don't know that he's the best overall athlete.
I think
you could be right.
I think he could wreck games. And
yes.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't do enough. I don't know enough about route running or route combinations or all those other things. But he just every time, like when they throw to him, like he can.
Yeah,
wreck
we'll
games.
ask Jason Wilde. Yeah, I'd like to ask him. Yeah, he's scary fast.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe he's not over the very first pass they threw him, and they don't.
I don't know. What do you feel? I mean, everybody's view is generally that you're afraid he's going to get hurt, but I don't. He has to get better to me at handling balls, 50-50 balls. He's just a track star who's getting better as a receiver. But I don't know how you would describe him. But he's scary fast. I mean, there aren't that many people in the NFL.
Right.
They just can't run with him.
There shouldn't be that many 50-50 balls. He should be able to just go by people.
Right.
And if not, he should be able to be pulling two people with him and clearing some things out. So I don't know. I found that a bit of mystery since he's arrived, that they don't force it to him some more and run some things out where
right. And then if you have him running that should conceivably open up other things. I mean, you're the defense. I know you're thinking. You're thinking every defensive coordinator, when he's healthy, says, all right, first thing we got to do is we got to take care of Watson long. Because otherwise you have a play like the touchdown he scored. I will defer to you. That's as wide open as I can remember without someone slipping or falling.
As my buddy said, there's wide open, and then there was Christian Watson on that play.
Yes. We call that Texas wide open.
Yeah, he should be able to run by people like that every time, or run by them enough that safety has to move over and favor that side of the field. And then I think guys like Dobbs and guys like Wicks and guys like Reed can eat people up.
Or run by him like that he stops and then comes back, and there's no way they can cover both.
No, they'd run another 12 yards where they had to stop and turn around. Yeah, absolutely. So I just think he's a weapon that of all the things they have, I think he is underutilized. Again, I'm not in the film room, so if there are deficiencies to his game that prevent that, I'd kind of like to know what that is, because otherwise, I just like he could be Bob Hayes, man. Without the
just want to give you, I want to give you a heads up, sir. That's kind of Don Hudson. Bob Hayes is just. I mean,
that's fine.
No. Think of this. Bob Hayes is 60 years ago, more than 60. Did he win the gold medal in 60 or 64? I think it was 64. I can't remember. But anyway,
60 was Rome. 64 was Tokyo.
I don't remember. All I know is, but that's.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know. How do you explain? I don't
have another guy. I guess Tyreek.
Well, no, and he was the first track guy. He was the first Christian Watson because no one could run with him.
But he was a football player too, right? Because they tried that with Nehemiah. They tried that with some other guys that were like, "Oh, we'll see if he's fast." Like that guy was a football player, and by the way, fast enough to set the world record and win an Olympic gold medal. But
Green Bay people love to talk about him at the Ice Bowl, like that he had no interest in playing. It was just, I don't know the particulars.
Warm muscles are long muscles, are loose muscles, and fast muscles. But you freeze them up, and then you can be, you run like a fire hydrant.
Well, you have to talk to your peeps. You know your family. You know lots of peeps that were around there. I can find you 150,000 people that were at the game, but I can't get I can't get the inside information about Bob Hayes because I'll bet it's pretty good. I'm not playing. And I'm sorry. I don't think he did anything in that game. Dan Reeves was the one who was had a big game for the Cowboys. But anyway, I wanted to ask you that what excites me about this team is all these young players. They're just young guys, and I don't know what you can expect of them the first year. My history of the Packers, you kind of build and you develop players, and you have older guys, and it's not like all of a sudden it's, whoa, they won the title that year. It's always the talent level was there and enough veterans, but I think defensively they're just the guys that you Cooper or Williams, they're good already.
And I didn't realize until it was a graphic. I don't believe it was actually in the Packer game. I was watching the Red Zone because I don't know if you know, out here in Connecticut, usually they don't pick the Packers Cardinals to be on my local TV.
Yes.
So I have to dial up Wayne Larrivee and listen to him, he and Rock. And then I am, hoping that every once in a while that even when the Packers are in the red zone, they can cut away from the Eagles long enough to show a play. But one of them, they popped up, like their offensive line is really young too. The offensive line is a bunch of pups. So it is.
Yeah, Zach Tom. We've talked about Zach Tom. Zach Tom's a potential Hall of Fame player. That's how good he is. You heard it first here.
Yeah.
But I kind of stole it from Brian Bulaga a little bit.
Okay.
But because you have a chance now. Right tackles get treated with a little more respect than they used to. Used to be like, dude, if you're any good, you'd be at left tackle. Come on.
Sure. Unless you played with Steve Young or Ken Stabler.
Correct. Yes.
I know. That's in the Wayback Machine, too.
That is. Not as far back as Bob Hayes, though. Bob Hayes.
No. Who's a current left-handed quarterback? Is there? Who's out there? But
Pebble will know. I feel like there is somebody. I just can't.
Who is left-handed? Pretty sure.
Yeah, this means
you're right. So they're young.
I can't remember.
Tua is. So is Michael Penix.
Yeah, Tua.
Okay. So we said we had Tua. How fast can they get to the level that you need them to be? And most of the time with young people, then the biggest problem is sort of consistency, or every once in a while they just run into stuff they haven't seen before. Sometimes that serves them well because, if you're too dumb to know better, you just kind of go through and play like that's how it's supposed to be. But there's sometimes you get caught because you haven't seen stuff and you can look bad. But can they just find a level of consistency that, again, I think there are really good players there. But the thing about football, right, all 11 kind of have to be really good all at the same time.
Yeah. And I think if somebody gets hurt, you now have this depth where somebody else can come in and it's not, oh, wait, now. Just like Detroit, I'm convinced the Lions are gonna make a trade to pick up somebody to help.
And what, for Hutchinson in
yes.
the line? Something?
Yes.
I don't know. By the way, I don't know if you saw there was a trade with the Jets today. I don't know if that one got on your radar.
I wondered if that would be in your opening statement. It surprised me that you didn't. I have had the same position, and that is that everything's important in the league only as it relates to the Green Bay Packers, and I'm mad at the Jets that they didn't beat the Vikings. But other than that, I don't really care. And I did watch the game last night, and the Jets should have won the game. They found some way to lose it, and I would think that that the wide receiver will really help them. I think the scary part, their offensive line is so horrible. There are about 5 or 6 plays in which I thought they only had 2 offensive linemen. Like, just if people were standing there, it would prevent the defense from just running at Aaron Rodgers. And he looks 40 on certain plays. When
just
you
fall
remember.
down in front of somebody. At least make them jump over you.
Yes. It's like they're running at full speed. You can't get to full speed. You didn't start that far away. But I'll defer to you. What do you want to add about Davante Adams? It didn't cost him much. It's a good move for Goody, right? Given what he got.
Yeah, that's good for him. I felt bad for the guy, right? He has a really good thing. I want to play for my team. I want to play with my college buddy, I think I still maintain, I don't know if we ever talked about it, I don't know that there was ever a classier exit, right? He did not make it a distraction during the season. When he left, he could not have been more thankful. He made it clear, this is why I'm going, because the Packers had the money. I just don't know that there's ever been a guy who left a team in a classier way, given some of the ugliness that's gone out with some of the other guys they've had, right? There, I had nothing but respect. Like, that's how you should handle your exit. And so I kind of wanted the best for him. The biggest thing today is, and I said that to the folks at KBN, and I don't know if you were listening or not, but I hope I'm sure Aaron was absolutely as blindsided by this as he was by the Saleh firing, that he was probably just sitting in the training room and his phone went off and he's like, oh my gosh, we got Davante Adams. That's amazing. So I'm sure he was just absolutely flabbergasted when he got the news.
Yes, well put. I heard that, and I thought, yeah, there's the salt of John Anderson. All right, was Aaron Rodgers 90% involved, 95% involved, or 100% involved? That should be our Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, except I don't care about the Jets. What would you say?
That's like last week, though, when he said he resented implications that he had anything to do with Saleh's firing. I'm like, no, he would like to be recognized that he had everything to do with it, and not just implications. He had something to do with it.
Well, I
think he wanted total credit.
I think Davante Adams took a flight last night, or like he was in New York before the announcement was made. And I'm not sure. I want to make sure that's reasonably accurate. All right, the questions you had about some of the players and the speed, the Bob Hayes speed of Christian Watson, will go to Jason Wilde next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
A couple of crashes from earlier have been cleared, but we're still seeing some delays remaining. The worst of it's along 894 southbound. Those delays start at the Zoo interchange and they go all the way down to the Hale interchange. Things start to clear up eastbound once you get past 84th Street. On 94, we've got your typical delays at this time in both directions. Eastbound delays start around State Fair Park heading past American Family Field, and westbound delays start downtown and continue past American Family Field. 43 southbound, you'll be hitting the brakes starting at Locust Street and continuing into downtown. Tonight, mainly clear skies, breezy and chilly, a low of 36 by the lake and 28 degrees inland. Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the crinkle turnover game. So that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry Are you guys being serious? You guys can't put two
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish turnover.
Sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Luther Gray is Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Luther, tell us about the orchestra's mission.
We provide over 135 shows a year, classical concerts, pop concerts, family and educational concerts, and also we do many performances throughout the state as well.
And James Imaging Systems provides their expertise to support the symphony.
Yes, James Imaging is there. It makes it so much easier for us, and they help keep us on schedule.
Luther, it seems that with captivating audiences with acclaimed musical performances, many would like an opportunity to get involved.
That is correct. Attending the concerts is great, giving is great, but the volunteerism is wonderful as well. We need all of that to be a successful, thriving orchestra.
What's the first step people can take to ensure that long-term success?
They can go to our website at mso.org.
That's mso.org. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy the Jack-O-Lanterns here with a front porch view of Target's Halloween deals, like 20% off costumes with Target Circle. We're talking rock stars, witches, princesses.
Ooh, I think I'd look good with a cape.
I think so too, Gordy. Plus, hit the trick-or-treat jackpot with 20% off candy.
Now that's how you get porch traffic.
This week only, save 20% on costumes with Target Circle and 20% off candy. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
This political season, you'll hear a lot of noise. But this November, Walker Media Agency has the expertise and team to improve your marketing, advertising, and IT. Start at WMA2024.com. Paid for by Matt Walker and Walker Media Agency.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
With 7'2½", John Anderson, who will introduce him because I never ask how people are. Take it away, 7'2½".
What am I taking away? Is Jason Wilde on the phone already?
I'm here, baby.
Perfect. Mic check, testing, mic check, 1, 2. No.
Is this a Sports Center commercial? Ow, my ankle!
Listen, I got a lot of trouble for that because people thought I was making fun of soccer, and I feel bad because I was totally making fun of soccer. I don't think people realize how much I wanted to make fun of soccer at that point.
Is this on YouTube? Not everybody knows the historical perspective of this. Can we look this up?
Sure. And then there's since I decided that the script signed by John and Stuart Scott was a little out of my price range, I am watching a DVD on eBay of the greatest Sports Center commercials, because I still maintain it's some of the greatest advertising in the history of television. And I think I might buy it, even though I don't know if I have a functioning DVD player right now.
So I can take care of you there.
I'll tell you one funny thing about that whole thing. You know what's amazing about those commercials? Never once do they tell you when the show is on. Most of the time they tell you, hey, come on. Never once does it ever say the show's at 6 or 11. It just says this is Sports Center. It's
no
crazy.
one said they were
It doesn't tell you when the show is. Just got to find it.
It's entertaining. Yeah. All right.
So, what was the best thing that came out of Sunday? Because I've got a list of about 3 that I really like. But what was the best thing?
I would, for me anyway, it was, and this is something that I believe is important both on Sunday and moving forward, and that was that not only was Romeo Doubs involved, but that his teammates uplifted him. And I'm talking about Christian Watson, I'm talking about Jaden Reed, talking about Jordan Love, talking about Bo Melton. Like there was, this is still, Tausch and I were talking about it this morning, and trust me, avid listeners, it's not because I want it to linger. I got plenty of other really good stories, like my Tucker Kraft story on Sunday, or I'm going to reach out to Micah Hyde here after I'm done talking to you so I can do something comparing him to Evan Williams. But I just think that there's still some waxy buildup there. What do you call it, Homer? Shoes? There's some. Yep. I still think there's some shoes.
Got some bobblehead shoes there.
Yeah, and so I just thought the way that the players handled it was so impressive and so vital, and certainly winning cures a lot of ills or at least covers them up, and so that certainly helped. But I just thought that the way those guys handled it was so important for them moving forward, because they do have, in my opinion, something pretty special potentially brewing, and those types of distractions can derail some of that stuff, and obviously in the case of at least Sunday, they kind of have the perfect antidote for it. What were your top 3, John?
Well, I thought when they showed the clip, by the way, in the locker room, LaFleur was talking, and he said something about Rome. Like, it seemed like a really genuine reaction, didn't it, from those guys? Like, that looked like, okay, that was heartfelt, that they were all in on that guy.
Yeah, and look, frankly, I think it was important, too, because it was antithetical to what Rome is like. Like, Domofsky asked them after the game, like, are you happy? Because you don't seem like you're happy. And I thought the fact that those guys, kind of went the extra mile trying to lift him up. And that doesn't mean that they're not still irritated or concerned or whatever it was. I told you guys this last week. Like the guys were A, rattled, but B, also kind of ticked that Rome handled it that way and that they were worrying as much as they were about him. So I just thought it was so important. It was great that he was productive, but on top of that, and look, like you said, you've got a list of three. I mean, I think the fact that they managed to continue their takeaways even without getting an interception was great. I thought the fact that Jordan Love looked the most like Jordan Love since, quite frankly, the Dallas game, or at least the first half of the San Francisco game. I didn't think he looked that great before he got hurt in Brazil, and I thought he looked, obviously much better on Sunday. So those were a couple of things on my list.
So I have Love played like we want Love to play. That was big.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they actually tried to use Christian Watson. We need to get back to that as they went through talking about the Dobbs. I had turnovers next. As long as you keep doing that, you're going to be in every game and demoralized. I'll take a turnover, over 3 and outs all the time. Then I had Dobbs. I had NFC North has become the soccer World Cup group of death. And then new kicker, and hoping that this week they'll activate Rashawn Gary, that's the salt for that they got.
Actually.
That they have that they got Watson back, or excuse me, first they got Love back, then they got Watson and Jair back, and now if they could just activate Rashawn Gary, then I think they'd really have it.
So why are you not aware that is the hidden John Anderson salt that shows up and that is a part of his character that we've all.
That's a great line. Yeah, I just wish, in all seriousness, and I was talking to somebody else, and I was talking to Evan Williams at the time that Rashawn talked, and it wasn't, the way the game plan was of keeping Kyler Murray hemmed in. It wasn't the ideal time to ask him about his minimal production, because I don't think that game would be the game that you would point to say, hey, where is this guy? Because they were playing it differently. But the overarching issue remains the same, even if, and I don't know how they're going to play Stroud, because Stroud is not, he's not a crazy runner guy, but he's got mobility too. But they got to start getting after quarterbacks. I don't think he's really mobile. We got to keep him hemmed in. That explanation only lasts for so long, and I think we're reaching the end of the expiration date there.
Do we get a Christian Watson comment? Do I need to go back?
No, I would say, have I overestimated Christian Watson? I think he's the best athlete on the team, and I think he could wreck games, and I can't figure out why they don't use him more.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you. I think the problem with both Romeo's departure and your question about Watson is that the season's been kind of jacked up to this point, right? So Love plays in the opener, and obviously so does Watson. Gets hurt. Watson plays 41 snaps in that Indianapolis game, never even gets targeted by Malik Willis. Has some pretty important catches in Tennessee the following week with Malik Willis, if you recall. And then they play the Vikings, and he gets hurt on that interception, and it's with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. So he misses virtually all of that game, and then misses the Minnesota game. So I think Matt LaFleur absolutely loves him. Loves what he can do in terms of taking the top off the defense, obviously. But every time I ask him about Watson, one of the first things he points to is how smart he is and how you can line him up everywhere. This is not, and I used to say this about Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who I know got cut today by the Bills after their trade, and I'm not happy for that at all. But I used to say that I thought Marquez Valdez-Scantling was an updated version of Corey Bradford. Run as fast as you can, as far as you can, and we'll throw it to you sometimes down there, and sometimes you'll catch it, right? And frankly, yes, and that was the part of the problem, obviously, with both those guys. But they could run like the wind, and they were great deep threats, and there wasn't a whole lot else that they really did well in the offense. And the difference with Christian Watson, as Matt LaFleur will be eager to tell you, is that they can line him up absolutely anywhere. He knows the offense that well. He's that smart. He got a really high score on the Wonderlic test. Like, he is a bright dude. And what is beautiful about him, if he stays healthy, which is always attached to his name until he proves otherwise, but if he stays healthy, he's not just that run. He can take the top off the defense, but that's not all he can do. And there aren't many guys like him who are built like him, who run like him, who are as tall as him, who are as athletic as him, who also can do all the other stuff. And I am not comparing him to this guy. But you worked with him for a while. I'm not saying he's Randy Moss by any means, but the guy that could do all the things, including take the top off the defense, and did it at a Hall of Fame level, was that guy.
Well, then that's what they need him to do, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Homer, I was quick as a kid, and they used to always say, Anderson, just go long. We'll fake it to you. So that was always...
That is good. I'm going to use that. I do have what I think is breaking news, not as funny, if it's accurate. The NFL Network saying the Packers who have brought in kicker Brandon McManus for a workout today. And for people who don't know McManus, very, very good, but he was released in June after signing with Washington because he was sued by flight attendants. The NFL had 30 people interviewed, and they didn't think there was sufficient evidence to discipline. And when they first looked at a kicker, I said, he's at the top of my list. But I didn't think the Packers would necessarily sign him. What's the thought of each of you? If that story is accurate, I assume that it is.
It's accurate. It's accurate that he worked out. I know that, and I know multiple people have reported that. Now, I was out. It's amazing that, and I know some parents have certain sports that they love, and I'm among them. But it's amazing. I just got done in the driveway working with Sid on volleyball, like digs and stuff, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. It's like me going to Maddie's cross-country meet. So I have not seen has it been reported that he's signed?
It has
or
not.
Is it just a workout?
Just a workout. But I guess to me, it's of note that they even would bring him in.
Oh, Homer, there's no doubt it's of note. But the reason I ask this is because they also worked out Chad Ryland last week, and then he signed with the Cardinals and actually kicked against them on Sunday. And, oh, by the way, made all of his kicks, unlike Braden Narveson. And my point is that if you brought him in for a workout and he looked good during it, you got to sign him or get off the pot, if you will, because he's like the last kicker available. He's the last kicker on earth at this point. Like even Anders Carlson has signed somewhere.
Right, but the only reason he's available is because of the issue. I mean, he would not be a free agent if not for the lawsuit and all that comes with that, correct?
Right, and look, believe me, I'm not saying that his behavior was acceptable. It apparently wasn't criminal and apparently didn't rise to the level of him being suspended for it. But, I've always said this, and I'm sure somebody else said it before me, so I don't want to plagiarize them, but your willingness to sign guys with questionable character issues is directly proportional to how desperately you need that guy at that position, right? Like whether it was Corin Robinson with his alcohol issues that Ted signed when they had like 3 wide receivers get injured in the same game. Like that's how this works. And if they've reached the point with Braden Narveson where they're like, we can't keep doing this, are they willing to then take a guy who, while certainly cleared in terms of any suspension by the league, obviously did allegedly some inappropriate things on a flight? I don't know. How fed up are you with Braden Narveson? If you're fed up enough with him, then you're going to sign him.
Might they wait a day or two and see how reaction occurs, given that he was brought in for a workout? Or
I don't think you can afford to do that. I don't know, John. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know that it's a good idea ever, and I get what you're saying, Over, but like you can't let the public perception decide what you're going to do if that's the case. I don't know that you can take the pulse of the the reaction around that and let that dictate.
Well, I can tell them it's bad enough using the standard of Jason. They could easily sign him and people wouldn't be that bothered.
Well, yeah, I think the one thing they can't do, right? They can't just bring guys in every Tuesday, because if you're trying to give Narveson a little confidence, you can't be bringing a guy in every Tuesday. And and I thought maybe they hey, here's your thing. We're going to give it to you. And what did he say? I'm renewed and focused, and I know what I'm doing wrong. And he did again. But if you bring him in next Tuesday, another guy next Tuesday, then you might as well just let him go. And again, I think they should just go for 2 and go for it on 4th down, and everybody be way happier. But that's just me. I'm an aggressive gambler, Johnny High Roller.
Johnny High Roller.
Yes.
Has LaFleur touched on, because they played the Vikings, but they haven't gotten into this. I keep saying the NFC North has become this World Cup group of death. Like did anybody see this? Like, that division is what now? They're like 18-5 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, 17-5. I think as you well know from your time working with them, the folks at ESPN Stats and Information are redonkulous. Like, I don't know how they do it. They have so much information. They're just so good at what they do. But I do know that, I don't know who tweeted this out, because it was not them initially, that this is the first time since 2002 realignment that 4 teams in a division have all won at least 4 games in the first 6 weeks. That turned out to not be accurate. There was one other instance of it, like the 05 AFC North or something. But the bottom line is, divisions are never this good this early in the season altogether, all 4 of them. And if the season ended today, the only team in the NFC North that would be the odd team out is the Packers, who would lose some tiebreakers with Tampa Bay. Otherwise, it would be the Vikings as the number 1 seed, and the Lions and the Bears as the other 2 wild card teams. And so it has been strong. Now, in fairness, all the teams that the Bears have beaten are all 1-win teams right now. And the Packers' resume in terms of the quality of wins ain't a whole heck of a lot better. But they are off to a hot start. The Vikings are way better than I thought they were going to be. Even if they fade in the second half of the season, they're still better than I thought they were going to be. And to your analogy about soccer and a World Cup group, I can't wait. And I actually asked LaFleur about the division yesterday, and basically they're going to beat the crap out of each other. And so no matter how good they are, they're going to start to have lower records because they're going to be beating each other. And so it's a weird. I used the word wonky with LaFleur yesterday, and he gave me a wonky, which I kind of thought that was a fairly commonly used word, but maybe not. But he was like, I can't wait till we start playing each other. He's played their team through 6 games has played 1 division game. I haven't looked at the others, but I don't think there's been a lot of them. So in the last 11 weeks, the Packers are going to play just under half of their games against division rivals. And there's some really big ones at the end of the schedule on December 29th at Minnesota and January 4th or 5th at Lambeau against the Bears. Like, that's the whole kit and caboodle there. And so it'll be interesting to see where those teams are at by the time we get to the end of the schedule.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys, take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. Yes. Brandon McManus. I'm going to find out from 7.5 if he thinks the Packers will sign him. I'm leaning to a yes. That's next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Travel times are improving slightly with those crashes along 894 cleared, but you're still going to run into delays on 894 southbound starting at the Zoo interchange, heading into the Hale, and continuing eastbound until about 76th Street. Also looking at delays along both directions of the 94. Eastbound starts around the Zoo interchange, continues into the stadium, and westbound delays start downtown heading past the stadium. Taking a look at 43, we've got delays starting around Locust Street, heading south past downtown. Tonight, mainly clear skies, breezy and chilly. We've got a freeze warning, a low of 36 by the lake and 28 degrees inland. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 56. Weather is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Lowe, Dobbs, Watson, Reed, and now Josh Jacobs? Football season is back, baby. Now's the time to set a game plan for your Green Bay and Wisconsin pigskin parties. This is Marie from Discount Liquor. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Whether you need an ice-cold keg, a bottle of your favorite wine, a unique craft brew, or hard-to-find liquor, we have everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
Wherever you're tailgating, we'll get you all set up with your favorite beverages. We're open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2. See all of our weekly specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Hey you! Daydreaming about that perfect house again? Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And whether your dream includes buying or building or renovating your current home, I'm happy to report that mortgage rates are finally starting to turn around. So make those dreams a reality with a custom-fit Great Midwest Bank mortgage product. We've been serving Southeast Wisconsin homeowners for nearly 90 years. Find a local experienced loan officer at greatmidwestbank.com. We can't wait to get started. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. I use AccuTrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. AccuTrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, AccuTrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Man, now I know what it feels like, must have felt like to be the second fastest man in the world with Carl Lewis. Like there's no way Homer in 7.5 John Anderson can be as good as Jason Woolley and John Anderson. But I'll give it my best shot. Do you have a car, boat, ATV, or motorcycle taking up space in storage or your garage? Here to tell you, consider donating it to Rawhide Youth Services, co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr. And he started donating a car he gave the MVP from the Super Bowl. Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year. Many right here in Milwaukee overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. They need vehicle donations to support their mission, and they've been doing it this way for back to 1965. Your vehicle donation will make a difference. Visit rawhide.org/donate and learn how you can help today. John Anderson, Professor John Anderson. He hasn't taught the class yet, but when you sign something that you're teaching a class, I say you're now a professor. All right, Brandon McManus. Pebble, you put the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question up. We wanted to make sure we did this properly, but he did have a workout today with the Packers.
As we get the poll up right now at the Homer Hour on Twitter, at ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter, would you be okay with the Packers signing free agent kicker Brandon McManus, who will not face discipline from the NFL after being sued for sexual assault last month? Right now, early in the voting process, 75% say yes, 25% say no.
I'm surprised. It depends, obviously, if it's early, how many people are in there, but it's because that's really such a hard subject. Like people will right? If it was a substance abuse problem, he came back, I think people were like, yeah, that person deserves another chance. This one, I think, is a little trickier.
I don't like to interrupt, but I think I have to because it says the judge dismissed the sexual assault case against Brandon McManus, and this is back in September. So that's my fault. We may have to rewrite that, Pebble. So I don't. But what has occurred has not changed. But probably should add that. And
allegedly got drunk on a flight and was inappropriate towards a couple of the flight attendants. I never trust, honestly, when anything that the NFL has investigated means nothing to me. I think that's the hard part, right? Well, we didn't really talk to the people involved. We talked to 30 people, but not the 2 women. And they just, right, look what they did with Ray Rice the first time. And so I don't trust anything that they say. I do think it's a gamble. And honestly, as much as I dislike kickers and as much as I think Narveson needs to go, I'm not sure I'd trade those misses for my integrity.
Okay. I'm in your club. I think the NFL does it better than they used to, but they have a long way to go for you to say I used to say this, but now I've changed. How high has your expectation for the Packers changed over the last couple games? Or I would add the expectation I think everyone should have, but the injury to Jordan Love is no longer a factor. Are you at where the season started, or how do you describe it? How good you think they are?
I'm exactly where I was before. I think they are meeting expectations, which is good enough to be a playoff team, and given the right circumstances, win a game, maybe even make the championship game. There are different teams in there that I didn't think, right? Didn't think that the Commanders were going to be good like this. Didn't think the Vikings were going to be good like this. Thought the 49ers would be way better than this. So I'm not exactly sure who all's in there. So I like what they've done. And I do think what happens this week against the Texans goes a long way to going, okay, where are they and how much do they, how really good are they? Can they be that team that we think they are? And I think if they have to win this game to do that, but again, you're still okay. If they don't lose, there's still 10 games left to get things right. We've seen teams finish with a flourish. They didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs last year, and they did. But right now, no, I just think they're meeting expectations, which is pretty good because I think there were high expectations for the team coming in. I think the defense actually has been a bit better than I thought. I think they're still, every once in a while, I'd like them to respond a little better. But the fact that they've got 17 turnovers is ridiculous. They had 18 all last year. 17 through 6 games that's amazing. You're going to put yourself in places to win and score points. So I think if they keep kind of going with that, turnover differential is a huge metric. That's one that's really actually telling, as opposed to like how open a guy is in a tight window throw, and some of this other stuff we try to pass off on people is really important stuff. So I think all that potential is still there. All the things we thought they could be, they can still be. And hopefully that if they jump like they did, and I get when Jason said they haven't played a bunch of great teams, but you got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And if you're going to have attrition in the division when you start playing the Vikings, Lions, and Bears, then you need to win the ones outside so that you don't finish 500 if you're 3-3 in your division schedule. So all those games could be equally important. So you got to take care of the Texans, or when you play the Saints or the Jags right now, I think those are teams you have to beat. And it'd be nice to get one against the Texans or the Seahawks that when they come through, their team are pretty solid. But I think that's where the season kind of hangs in the balance. But right now, no, they're a really good team. And I think there's no reason that if they keep improving that they're not going to be formidable by December and early January.
Has anybody said Vikings, Lions, and Bears? Oh my, probably not. I think that's as old as Bob Hayes.
Other than Dorothy, it's even older than Bob Hayes, quite frankly. But that's good.
Much older. It's older than Don Hudson, I think.
I want to ask. They play that once a year. They play the Wizard of Oz all the time. They don't show Bob Hayes all the time.
Excellent point. I want to ask you about Detroit and the whooping. And again, the issue is not about Dallas. The issue is about everything's important as it relates to the Packers. And certainly the Lions relate to the Packers. That's next for Professor John Anderson. That's almost as good
More
as
of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh. Green Bay's toughest test of the season comes this Sunday up in Green Bay against Houston. Join us for Green Bay Game Day beginning at 9 a.m. I'll be joined by Super Bowl champion Jarrett Bush, Jason Wilde, Rob Domofsky, and more throughout.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Sunday morning from 9 till kickoff, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales, Luther Gray.
James Imaging has been a wonderful partnership with the Milwaukee Symphony and just great to work with.
In what ways?
If an issue does arise, they're very prompt, polite, and professional. It makes me feel empowered because I find it very easy to resolve something.
Luther James Imaging Systems is a local business technology company that stands with their clients over the long term.
Yes, before, during, and after the sale, James Imaging is there, and they are making sure you get the full value and life of every product that you have with them.
Luther, any advice for others looking for a long-term business technology partnership?
I would tell them that James Imaging is the way to go.
Start your business technology partnership with James Imaging Systems today. It's easy to do. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hauntingly good deals await you at the Kunis Auto Group's October Spooktacular Savings Event. There will be no tricks, only treats.
Trick or treat!
On the price you'll get on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Prices will be slashed at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealership. America's best-selling cars, trucks, and SUVs from both Buick and GMC. All marked down with October Spooktacular Savings discounts and incentives, including their entire inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Choose from over 1,500 on lot or online. There'll be dozens of spooktacular service specials on everything from brakes, tires to oil changes. Plus, with any test drive in October, you'll be entered to win free gas for a year, with drawings held every Friday throughout the month at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis dealerships in both Greenfield and Oak Creek. Halloween savings aren't just slashed, they're chainsawed at the Kunis Auto Group's October Spooktacular Savings Event going on now. For additional event info, go to shopkunis.com.
This political season, you'll hear a lot of noise. But this November, Walker Media Agency has the expertise and team to improve your marketing, advertising, and IT. Start at WMA2024.com. Paid for by Matt Walker and Walker Media Agency.
Truth Nation is Sherwin Hughes, and I want to encourage you to get out and vote on Tuesday, November 5th, because every vote counts. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Let your voice be heard on November 5th, Truth Nation. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. She wants a diamond. You know it, I know it, and I know where you can get the deal and quality. About what you want for everything. Quality and a deal. Robert Hack Diamonds, they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds, and they'll talk to you about natural and lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds, $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds, Greenfield and Brookfield. Why overpay when you got it all figured out there? People are asking crazy prices like $5,000. No, go to Robert Hack Diamonds. They also repair services and cash for your old gold. Remember, before you do anything, call Robert Hack Diamonds, roberthackdiamonds.com. roberthackdiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield. With John Anderson, Professor John Anderson, that was just like a high school butt whooping that the Dallas Cowboys took from Detroit. I thought in a normal situation, that's the kind of game that gets a coach fired because you didn't lose. You were embarrassed. You could have scored 80.
I was going to say, and they just did it with ease. They did it in every facet of the game, and they could have just kept going and going and going if they had wanted to. You know, they tried some goofy things on the goal line, so we kick a field goal. But yeah, it could have been 60. Problem with Jerry is down there, and I know it relates to the Packers, but everybody loves to watch. I think everybody, Packers or not, enjoys the misery of Jerry Jones watching that. Is because of he's so involved to dump McCarthy or anybody now. He's got to admit that's on him. Because it's all on him, every bit of it. So it's harder for him to get off and step away from it, right? We got to double down on Dak and make him the highest paid guy because that's what we've ridden the whole time. And even though he's got one more playoff win than Jordan Love, we got to stay with him right now. And so I think that's part of in addition to be like, he's 82, so is my mom. I wouldn't let her run a franchise. Even if she knows football pretty well. My mom, by the way, one time almost walked out on the Packers women's night that they held because they asked how much a field goal was with. And she's like, I've been to the Ice Bowl. Don't ask me how much.
Yeah. Now I know where you got the salt. I know exactly where you got the salt. Here's the question. We got a little time. How good are the Lions?
Lions are the best team in the division, and I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC.
Even without Hutchinson.
Change the dynamic.
I guarantee you they're getting something. They're getting something for Hutchinson. So you think? I think they're going to get a good player for Hutchinson. They're too good to let this affect the season. I'll defer to my...
Campbell inspire that guy. He's better than he thinks he can be.
They could have beat him 80 to something, right? I mean, it was like a high school game. All right.
Yeah.
Professor John Anderson, how long till your first class? We're getting closer. Are you prepping yet? Are you prepping yet?
I leave Wednesday. I'm going in. I'll be there in some classrooms this weekend, this week, doing a few things.
You'll be Professor John Anderson. Oh, man. How do you like the sound? You getting used to it? Getting used to it?
I don't know. You know what I got to do on Sunday?
I'm afraid to ask.
I'm getting inducted to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah! Can we come if we want?
You can.
All right.
I'm going to wear a T-shirt, though. Let them know where I'm really from.
Wow. And you will. You will, won't you? Are you actually going to, or are you just saying that? Are you going to, or are you just saying that?
I don't think I actually will. I think I'll have more respect for the process in general than that.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations.
Let's
well deserved.
Sean Gary on Sunday.
Golf next.
Looking at a closure on Capitol Drive in Waukesha County. 190 East is closed at Lily Road, and 190 West is closed at 138th Street and Febrance Drive due to a crash there. Looking at the interstate, looks like the worst of the delays this evening are along 94 eastbound, starting at the Zoo Interchange, continuing past American